Hello and welcome to our 6th lightning talk today. My name is Melissa Blackburn and I'm a producer here at Watershed in Bristol. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm a white woman in my very late 40s with long dark brown hair, deep fringe, and wearing a black shirt with big hoopy earrings, and I'm sitting in front of a blue wall. And to my left, I'm joined by British Sign Language interpreter Emily Quigley. Emily's pronouns are she and her, and she is a white woman in her early 30s, and she's wearing a black t-shirt. Her hair is brown and curly, and she's wearing black framed glasses. And she's sitting at her desk with a light blue wall behind her. So these talks are about our data-related prototypes we've been developing over the last few months as part of our work growing new creative tech businesses in the Southwest. They will be available on YouTube next week, and I'm delighted to introduce you to Simon Goff and Lucy Knight from Data Cargo. Thank you.
Hello.
There we are. Hello.
Hi. Well, why don't you introduce yourself first, Lucy?
Sure. My name is Lucy Knight. My pronouns are they and them. I'm a late middle-aged white non-binary person with very short grey hair with a green bit at the front. I'm wearing a very dark green sweater, and I'm sitting in front of a very busy, very untidy living room, which is also my office. So sorry for the visual clutter for those of you that will be bothered by it.
And I'm Simon Goff. My pronouns are he and him. I have no hair on the top of my head, but I have a grey beard at the bottom of my face. I'm a white man in my very late 40s. I'm wearing glasses at the moment and a blue t-shirt. And like with Lucy, it's kind of messy behind me, although there's a bit of a window as well. Okay. So, right, just going to show you some slides and just talk through the Data Cargo project. So we're here representing Data Cargo, and we're actually part of the Data Place, who are one of the partners in the project. We'll talk about the people who are working in the project in a minute. So as you've met, Simon Goff and Lucy Knight. And what we're trying to do is humanize logistics and cities through the use of e-cargo bikes. And as I said, this is a partnership between us, the Data Place, and Bikespace. Now, obviously, there are lots of problems around at the moment in terms of traffic and pollution and congestion, but also there's a huge amount of inequality in terms of road use, because motor vehicles tend to make the use of cities and the use of roads quite unequal. So there's huge problems out there in the road, and a lot of times, even through lockdown, through COVID, some of this has got worse with more delivery traffic, more vehicles on the roads, a complete shift in the way that we're using the roads. And just a kind of statistic here about the number of sort of deaths, 1 in 19 UK deaths linked to air pollution, according to a report in 2020 from Cities Outlook. And of course, these last mile deliveries, with everybody getting more things delivered to them at home, they are basically creating a huge amount more traffic on the roads, a lot of van deliveries. And we think that there's obviously, we know, and there's plenty of things going on around this area, that e-cargo bikes offer a great advantage and a great alternative to this motor transport use of the roads. E-cargo bike usage actually grew 60% in 2019. This is a City Changer cargo bike survey. So there's a huge growth in the use of e-cargo bikes for delivery at the moment. And we feel that, and we know that e-cargo bikes are a much better alternative to motorized transport. They're cleaner, they're healthier, they get people active. They can do shorter distances, they can be useful, and they can also carry huge loads as well. So they can be used for all sorts of different businesses. Here's a picture from some filming of somebody riding one of the e-cargo bikes that we're looking at through a park in Plymouth. But we believe that there's a huge opportunity in e-cargo bikes. We actually did some research as part of this project, and a lot of people who had e-cargo bikes in this project were talking about how great it was to actually ride an e-cargo bike. Somebody said it doesn't register that it will be hard work. I only calculate the time it will take, and the journey is very pleasant. Somebody said they feel like a superhero when they get on the e-bike. They can pedal up hills easily. And somebody else said they're prepared for all eventuality. They carry lots of things. It's adaptable to all the different things they do on a day. So we think, and because we're biased, we're a data place, we work with data all the time. We think data can be a powerful tool in accelerating the use of e-cargo bikes. And there's lots of reasons why. The more we know about the usage, the more we can do with them. The more opportunities we can actually provide to help people get the most out of e-cargo bikes. So that's what our project's about. And we think that if we can encourage the use of e-cargo bikes, that means that we're replacing motor vehicles on the road, which is a great thing as far as we're concerned. But of course, there's things out there already in terms of logistics, in terms of devices that go on e-bikes. And of course, a lot of these actually just focus on bike tracking. And we think there's much more to the story than just tracking the usage of bikes. And as much as efficiency is important, it isn't everything. So there's a picture here of a kind of a lorry set of dials showing you things like the basic efficiency things around a lorry, like the tachometer and all those sorts of information. And of course, there's a danger that as we move to e-bikes, then that same kind of focus on efficiency will come across. And we think we need to do something different. And of course, many delivery staff right now are already working for algorithms. So we can see the impact of data in the workspace right now. So what about the rider experience? We think this is the really important thing. And we think there's lots of ways to measure that rider experience, from the infrastructure of the roads to the kind of the environment that people are cycling through, the sort of weather and the air pollution and those conditions, and of course the operation of the bike itself. We think all of this is important if we're going to care about people who are using these e-bikes. We actually kind of got this idea talking to Gareth from Bikespace, who's the partner in the project, in September 2020. His whole organization is geared towards getting people to use bikes, and he's got a lot of work that he's doing around e-bikes at the moment. So this is where the project came from. But we think this combination of the actual bikes themselves and the data is really, really important. So there's a picture loading here. And I'm going to hand over to Lucy right now, who's just going to talk a little bit about the prototyping that we've been through as part of this project.
Sure. Thank you, Simon. So we haven't rehearsed this bit, so I've just told Simon to advance the slides, and I will do my best to keep up. But as he says, we've been prototyping lots of different sensor packs. Those early prototypes you see in the pictures there, we're using food containers because making custom housings is expensive and time consuming. We wanted to see if we could get the sensors working. We had a range of things we would try to measure. Is it possible to get the bits? Are there sensors for that? Do they fit? And we had a really concentrated round of just, can we make these things work with the brain, if you like, of the device, which is a microcontroller? Can we plug these things in and get meaningful data from them? And the answer is resounding yes. So this is one of our early dashboards. You can see we've got some really good particulate sensing going on there for air quality. We could measure connectivity using the LoRaWAN network that's been our focus. We could also look at temperature, at humidity, air pressure, and we've been experimenting as well with sound and light and accelerometer data. So how bumpy is that surface? You know, how uncomfortable is that journey? Lots and lots of different things. And there's so many different exciting sensors out there. It's hard to narrow it down. When we say prototyping, we're not messing about. We are talking dangling wires and things soldered in haste. As long as they work, they don't have to look beautiful. The beautiful bit comes later, and it will need to be beautiful. It will need to be functional and something that people would be happy to put on their bike. Really, really terrible drawing here. I apologize. Artist's impression of how it might look, taking as a focus things like old MP3 players, things you could carry in your hand, things you could put on an armband or strap to your handlebars. These need to be small, they need to be unobtrusive, they need to be something someone is happy to switch on, is easy to use, got that functionality for charging, for programming, a display that tells you what's happening, and a button for resetting it if something goes wrong. And that's it. That's where we're looking to get to. At the moment, our device is a little bigger than that, but we will get there. Collecting all this data, what can we learn from this? Well, I mean, the sky could well be the limit. There is so much data that we can collect, not just from the sensors themselves, but also the way in which we plug them into the bike, that the possibilities for creating a rich data source that's useful to lots of different people is just amazing. We can look at the different pollution levels in different places. We can look at when it's busier, when it's worse, and so on, what's safer for cyclists, all of the things that you can see on the slide. Where's it loud? Where's it quiet? Where is it bumpy? Is the bike more efficient? But also, crucially, air pollution. Is that worse at face height for a cyclist or for somebody in a wheelchair or on a mobility scooter? Is it worse at the level at which your child is when you're pushing them in the buggy? You know, we can start to really refine that. We can think about altitude in terms of how hard does the bike have to work on a very hilly journey versus how hard does the rider have to work, and make some of those very strenuous journeys more accessible to people who might not normally attempt them. As Simon's already said, some of our interviewees have said that the bikes are a joy to use. You feel like a superhero. And then we can mash up other information from elsewhere about what are traffic levels, what do we know about carbon offsets, what do we know about different networks, LoRaWAN and others that we can use, what do we know about footfall, economic conditions, demographic conditions. So much wonderful open data out there that we could call on. And I think this is back to Simon to talk about the research. Thank you, Simon.
Thank you very much, Lucy. So yeah, we've been doing a huge amount of research as part of this project, and of course the things that Lucy has been talking about already in terms of building prototypes, of trying things out, of kind of experimenting, that's a huge part of the research. That's a huge part. Prototyping is really key to this. But of course, we've also been talking to people. We've been talking to councils, we've been talking to cargo bike riders, cargo bike companies, and businesses who use cargo bikes to deliver their services at the moment. So it's been really important for us to dig into that, because like you said, this is all about understanding what the needs are, what the kind of experiences need to be to get people using cargo bikes. And of course, on the other side, people can do with that data that comes from it, not just individually as a business, but for example, for councils who are looking at what kind of infrastructure they might be able to redesign or invest in as that are needed by these bikes to operate. Part of the work we've been doing is looking at the kind of ecosystems around this data. So thinking about these different organizations who are connected and kind of, you know, where these important relationships are. This emphasis on data is really important for this project in terms of what is shared, what is open, what is private data. So this is a big part of the work. And, you know, as I said before, there are other things out there on the market, but we think this kind of ecosystem is really, really important, and understanding it is key to this particular bit of work. So the research and prototyping are core elements of what we're working on. And we know that people need this data. We know councils need it because they've got Healthier Streets initiatives. And throughout the UK, they need the data to actually push forward on these important things to make our streets better, to improve the city infrastructure and the places that people live in. And we know that e-cargo bike riders need to have better streets to operate in. It needs to be more pleasurable. And of course, pedestrians as well, and cats and urban foxes. You know, it's not just about bike riders. It's not just about pedestrians. It's about everybody who uses the city and how much we can make that better for them. And of course, out there, by having the right data ecosystem, we can think about the campaigners. We can think about all the other people who might be able to use that data for something, because there's so much opportunity that we can do with this data. So e-cargo bikes plus data equals more meaningful innovation for everyone. It's not just the data users and producers, it's the whole of the data ecosystem that we're thinking about. So just very quickly, just to round up a few things about us, you know, the Data Place is a social enterprise. We're data scientists, we're designers, we're community builders and strategists, and we're really keen on helping people and places thrive through data, through the things that we can do with data. And of course, Bikespace CIC is a not-for-profit social enterprise, all focused on people using bicycles. So this is a great partnership for us to have been working on. Both of us are organised, geared towards the social benefit of what we do. You know, we are keen on to making money from this, of course, but the impact is the really key thing as far as we're concerned. You know, what can we do with this that will improve lives for people? What's next? So here's a quick picture of another sort of prototype that Lucy has been working on. Won't go into any depth on that, but yeah, there's a picture of it, and she's showing you the actual object itself, so it's real, it's not just a mock-up. And you know, the other work that we're doing here is also funded by the Open Data Institute and Microsoft. So we were talking about these data collaborations and ecosystems. Part of our work is exploring those with other partners who can help us make sure that we get the most from the data that we're working with. So yes, there's huge potential for that data ecosystem to continue to expand, to find new opportunities. And of course, e-cargo bikes are what it's all about as well. So other uses for e-cargo bikes really, really matter. The school run, doctor's appointments, the weekly shop. There's so much more potential in the use of e-cargo bikes for everyone. And of course, what we learned from the research, and we showed you the quotes early on, people who ride cargo bikes love them, and they love what they can do with them. So if we can help more people to use those bikes, then that's what really matters to us. So ultimately, we want to make it possible for everyone to have a better urban experience. And that's the end of our talk. Thank you very much.